Welcome to our opening activity for CTE month. We are so super excited to have you here. We're going to introduce our speaker for the day, who is Kalish, who is going to introduce our mayor. Kalish's camera may not be on, but he is going to enthusiastically introduce our mayor.
I'm sorry, because my camera's acting a little iffy, but I'm going to introduce him. Brandon Scott is the 52nd mayor of Baltimore, working to end gun violence and restore the public's trust in government and change Baltimore for the better. Scott was anonymously elected president of the Baltimore City Council by his colleagues in May 2019. As council president, Scott developed and released the first ever city council president and legislative agenda focused on building safer and stronger communities, cleaning up city government, investing in Baltimore's young people, and centering equity. Previously, Scott served on the city council presenting Baltimore's 2nd district. He was first elected in 2011 at the age of 27 and is one of the youngest people ever elected of the Baltimore City Council. Mayor Scott is a rising star in politics, and he was a member of the Young Elected Officials Network and served as the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development for YEO's America's Cabinet. He was also served as the chair of the National League of Cities Large Cities Council. Mayor Scott is a community leader, public servant, and lifelong resident of Baltimore City. A proud Baltimorean, Scott is a graduate of Maryville High School and St. Mary's College of Maryland. He lives in Baltimore's Frankfort neighborhood in Northeast Baltimore, which, you know, I live around that area. But with that being said, please welcome Mayor Brandon Scott.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Kalish, for the introduction, and thank you, everyone, for having me. And Mayor Brandon Scott, I am honored to serve as the mayor of Baltimore, and I'm honored to be here for this very, very important event. I want to thank the Director of Violence City Schools and the CTE students for inviting me to join you in today's kickoff and celebration for this year's CTE month. And this event is near and dear to me for many reasons. First, because it's all about the young people, our greatest asset in our city. And many might ask, why are you our greatest asset? To me, it's pretty straightforward. You represent a truth that only comes with being young. Your futures are wide open and full of opportunity and possibility. You are smart, curious, motivated, courageous, and we know you will continue to grow and succeed. And in a few short years, you will be leading us, our city, our communities, our government, everything. You will be shaping our future. Having young people at the table to inform our thinking and our decision making around city programs, resources, and issues that affect you, the youth, is a top priority for me as your mayor, and you will see me continuing to engage with you and all young people and want to hear from you directly at every opportunity. The other reason that I'm happy to be here today, I think is pretty obvious with my sweatshirt and background. I am a proud graduate of one of Baltimore's excellent CTE schools and take every opportunity to let folks know that I am a Maryville Mustang and Maryville Mustang proud. And when I think about where I sit today, it would not have been possible if I did not attend Maryville High School. And there are many, many memories that I have from my time at Maryville, be it us dominating on the track, but also learning many different things. I was a computer programming a trade track at Maryville High School, so learning how those systems work and being able to build those systems, but also attending a school where myself and my friends all were learning different trades, where I could get my hair braided, get my brakes worked on, and get some donuts at lunchtime all at the same time. I really provided a real life experience of what it was going to be like requiring services from other people. And attending a CTE program, it taught me so many of the lessons that I learned, and I continue to use those each day. The skills and expertise in a distinct area matter, and develop them forced me to develop a strong work ethic and focus, investing in long-term relationships with people who pushed me to succeed has been critically important in my life. The friends, the teachers, the parents, the mentors, the coaches, the counselors that I had from Maryville are some of the folks who are still closest to me today and that are always around to keep me grounded, but also reminding me that I always have to continue learning and being better. And CTE taught me to think about my future in concrete terms, to set goals and work towards those goals. It also taught me to dream big. And I can truly say I've had these achievements that I never could have imagined as a younger man, because I went a little further, because I worked a little harder, because I had my friends at Mervo, my teachers, holding me accountable. And with that, I would like to open it up for questions. I want to know what you're doing on your CTE paths and want you to hear from me. I want to be, for you guys, one of those champions that I was just talking about that is important in all of our lives. So I'll just end it there and take a few questions if that's possible.
Thank you so much, Mayor Scott. So for our student participants, thank you so much for joining in. If you have a question for Mayor Scott, please drop them in the Q&A and we will read your questions live and have them answered by our mayor. As our students are coming up with their questions, Mayor Scott, I'll start with the first question. Can you tell us a little bit about the day-to-day life of a CTE student when you were a student at Mervo?
Oh, wow. It was interesting. It was challenging, especially when you got further on. So it's a little easier in ninth grade was pretty easy. I was already in my trade track in ninth grade and 10th grade, but 11th and 12th, it became very intense, right? We spent a good bit of our day in our trade track. And then also we had the work study, right? Where you had to have the responsibility of leaving school, knowing that you had to return to school back on later that day. For me, I would have to leave school, go to my work study thing at the Afro-American newspaper, and then come back to Mervo for practice, for another class, and for practice, and for college bound SAT prep after school. It puts a lot of responsibility on you. It makes you grow up as a young person because you're learning these trades that you're automatically going to be able to use when you leave high school. But especially when you have that opportunity, you have to have the discipline. And I knew some students, some of my friends who didn't have that discipline, who fell behind because they would go home. They couldn't handle the responsibility of having to go to another place and come back to school. So I think, that's something that I would just always like to mention.
That balance is crucial. So I'm from Jamaica, Queens, New York. I went to August Martin High School, proud graduate, class of 1997. And so we had our career paths as well. I was in the law and leadership pathway. And so because of that, we had mock trial and moot court, which meant twice a week, we would leave school to go to another school that actually had a courtroom set up so that we can do our mock trial and moot court, which was amazing. Oftentimes, CTE seems to get, for lack of a better word, a bad rap. People believe that if in fact you're in a CTE pathway or a trade or vocation, then you're not college bound. Can you speak to a little bit about how it's both beneficial to be in a CTE pathway as well as be into academics for your future trajectory?
Yeah. And I think that this actually answers one of the questions that I'm looking at in the chat about how I got to St. Mary's, and I asked a couple of them. So my CTE pathway was a computer programming. I think it's called something different. It was C++ in the first HTML back then. But yes, and Mervo was my first pick. I always knew I wanted to go to Mervo. We talked about me running track at Mervo, so I knew that where I was going at a very young age. And for me, I always tell CTE students and families that it's the best of both worlds, because you get to learn a real life skill immediately, and you can still choose to go to higher education if you want, because I had that option. I could have immediately went working at some business, working for some company, working for some government, being a programmer, or I could have done what I did and went to St. Mary's College in Maryland, which I got there through the college bound program at Mervo. So for me, I was getting all of my credits in my trade, but I was also getting the college prep credits that I need. I took a lot of English classes as electives. I took a lot of math classes as electives that were open to me because of the CTE school. And that prepared me to be able to make that decision. For me, the decision was to go to college. If that's what you want to do at a CTE school, you can do that. But make no mistake about it, There is nothing wrong if you choose not to do that and choose to continue your career in immediately after high school and maybe do training, maybe do classes in your trade later on. I always tell the story. First year I was in college at St. Mary's, where I had some loans and I acquired like $2,000 in debt. I had friends who were making $25,000, $30,000 a year right after high school because they were working in their trade, right? And I think that we have to get out of this mindset that if you don't go to college, you can't be successful. Yes, that was the past for me. I would recommend going to college for anyone who wants to do it, but it's not the past for everyone in the city of Baltimore.
Thank you, Mayor Scott. So there's a question that says, did you participate in a work-based learning program such as Urban Alliance or any other CTSOs while you were in the CTE program?
No, no. And I wish that I could have. I would say that, as I said, I did have that work study at the Afro for a while. That was great. I also did in-school work study where one of my English teachers, Ms. Helbron, who may be seeing this, she still works in the school system, had me as a teacher's assistant, which was a great experience of working and helping some of my fellow classmates. But those were the focus for me. But I will also say that for me, I was at Mervo. It was school, track, college bound. That was the focus, right? Though that really controlled my life, and I had to be and would not be here if I were not doing those things. So I was very focused in on those things. They wanted me to be on the debate team, but Coach Hendricks was not having that.
Okay, now here's a question. I don't know about this, but it says, did your program and background from Merville help you with the Baltimore City hacking threat?
No, I wish I a little bit. I can still recall a lot of it, and I can ask questions of our IT director that probably the average mayor cannot. But it is not. The systems have evolved so much since I was in high school, so I would have to dust off the skills in order to dig back in.
So I've had a total of 20 years experience in education. I taught for 16 years, and then I've been at central office for 4. So one thing, even though I support teachers and support students, I cannot identify with teaching virtually, attending school virtually. And I know that you share in that because we didn't attend a school virtually. But do you have any words for our seniors who are in school virtually, how they can navigate the CTE pathway, and what are some of the things that they can kind of expect as their senior year comes to a close?
Yeah, let me first start off by saying that you are not the only one struggling with living in a virtual world. I know that Director Vines, he's been on some of these with me. Just like you, I despise having to do everything virtually. I am a people person. I want to see things. I want to see people. We know that it's tough. I'm on these things literally from like 7 in the morning to 10 at night every day, and it's tough. And you have to make sure that you are considering yourself and your health and your safety, right? You have to sometimes decompress from the phone, from the computer, so that you can be your best self. But know that this is where we have to be right now in order to be safe. We want you guys, this is your senior year, figure out creative ways for y'all to enjoy yourselves. Look, if I were y'all, I would tell you what I would be doing. I'll be creating Zooms just for me and my friends to do whatever, talk, joke, do whatever we got to do. Like, make sure that you're communicating with each other, especially if you're thinking about going to college and things like that. Checking on your friends, make sure that they have their documents and their ducks in a row, make sure that they got their classes in a row, taking the right things, learning the things that we need to do. And it's very unique and tough in a CTE situation because you want to be learning with your hands, and we're going to try to get you to that point. But just know that I feel your pain each and every day. I would rather be doing this with you guys in person for sure.
Okay, so I know you spoke about this, but I'm going to ask again. This is a question from Victoria Clark. I want a mic drop type of response. She says, why is CTE programs, why are they so important? If you had to speak to somebody who was on the fence about it, what would you say?
I would say very simply, everyone thinks that a college degree makes you successful. That's not the case, right? Because when your car breaks down, who are you going to call? When your computer breaks down, who are you going to call? When you think about the world that we're living in now, the emerging technologies, the things that we rely on each and every day, those are CTE students who created them, who manufactured them, who fixed them and helped them succeed every day. We cannot imagine a world where we are no longer in a world where a degree is going to determine someone's success. CTE education, learning how to fix things, to build things, to work on systems, create systems, to analyze systems is the way of the future. And you all are already ahead of that because you're going to have to continue to learn that. Families have to understand, and there's a reason that my school, Mervo, is the most applied to in the city because the young people want to work. They want to do things that are going to make people's lives a better place. It's not just about being able to go out and have a nice fancy degree, which I have. That's all well and fine. But people want to be able to provide for their families in a sustainable career, and a CTE education is the best pathway to do that.
Excellent. So here's a personal question for you, but I'm going to start it with a fun Black History Month fact. Are you ready?
Yep.
So I attended the Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, America's oldest and first historically Black college, founded in 1854. Proud, okay, Lincoln Lion. So very proud of my alma mater. However, somebody wants to know if you always wanted to attend St. Mary's College, was it your first choice? And then just to get a little bit of information about you and your experience as a college student.
Oh wow! No, this is actually a cool story. So I never visited St. Mary's College, and now I see who asked the question, so I know that she knows the answer. I never visited St. Mary's College until my first day there, which was August the 31st, 2002. We talked about me running track. I ended up getting hurt, but because we were focused on my academics as well, I ended up being able to, I didn't take SAT after 10th grade because of the score that I had was high. I ended up being able in a position of looking at schools academically, looking at them from a point of financial aid and how they would provide. I wanted to go to a place that was going to challenge me. I wanted to go to a place, obviously, that was going to provide a quality education, but also that wasn't going to break my pockets, right? If I had to come out of pocket. So one day I popped up at school, true story, at Mervo in my computer programming class that we had a homeroom first thing in the morning. And sitting in the classroom was my teacher, my college bound counselor, my coach, and my dad, and some young lady that I didn't recognize. And she ended up being the counselor from St. Mary's. And they said, "This is where we think you should go." And I said, "Maybe." And then we started to talk about it, and I decided to go there, and the rest is history. And I would not be sitting here if I didn't go to St. Mary's and study at the Center for Democracy, where I got my political science degree. So it was not my first choice. I was thinking about going to Hampton. I was thinking about going to George Mason or Temple, many of these other places, Towson, but I ended up at the right place for me at the right time.
Excellent. What a dope answer. Okay, so we know that you are the mayor of Baltimore City. Did your CTE experience impact your job description? Were you prepared in CTE to do this in any way?
Well, I would say yes, because as the mayor, right, I am responsible for all of the agencies. And for example, not only did I have the CTE from the Mervo experience, I also grew up and my family runs an air conditioning heating business in the city, so I have like double the CTE experience. So it's easier for me. For example, if we're talking about computer issues, as I mentioned, I have a deeper background than that, right? And then also when we're talking about heating and air conditioning, they know that they can't just talk like at some high level with me, right? I'm going to be able to know the details because I've actually done it with my hand. So having that experience, lived and worked experience of working in and around CTE means a lot because, for example, I'm talking to you guys, you can't see it right now, but I'm at the city's emergency operations center because we had a snowstorm, right? And being able to have those conversations and work and talk with our workers who they would typically see someone as mayor as somebody as a outsider who has no clue how it is to work with their hands in the dirt, but they know with me it's the opposite because I came up the other way.
Excellent. Wow, that's very inspiring. And actually, we thank you so much because we do recognize that there's a lot going on in the city and throughout the the Northeast just with this snow. So that is even more special. I don't think that I will ever forget that you took the time to meet with us today to give us question and answer, tell us about your experience and strength and hope as the mayor. If you're scanning the questions, if there's any other final thoughts that you want to share.
Yeah, I was just trying to put a bunch of them into one last response. So let me say, I've always wanted to be the mayor of Baltimore City, and the job is exactly what I expected. It's not an easy job, but that's why I wanted it. I knew it was going to be hard, and I often say this to young people: I wanted to be hard for me, so that one day one of you can sit in this chair in this room and it not be as hard for you. That's the reality. Someone has to build the foundation for you to stand on. I'm standing on people's shoulders, right? Who went through things that I didn't have to go through, right? Like, but you are going to have to be able to stand on my shoulders and take us to our highest heights. We know many of the problems that we face in the city, right? We all know that, all of us here, there's no one on this call, no one on this call who hasn't been impacted by violence in the city of Baltimore, right? So when you think about that, what do we have to do there? One, we have to invest in programs like CTE. We have to invest in young people in our schools. We have to fully fund them for the first time in my lifetime, because I always say, what would it be like if schools were fully funded when I was a kid? How many more of my friends would be alive? How many more wouldn't be in jail? How many more wouldn't be addicted to drugs if we had fully funded schools in the city of Baltimore? We have to think about how we're going to deal with trauma and health in our city, addiction in our city in a different way. All of the things that lead, provide an opportunity for jobs and employment that lead to violence. But we also have to deal with people who are committing violent crimes in our city too. We will not allow people to be shooting kids, high school seniors, people who just graduated, grandmothers, mobility drivers, bus drivers. That is not cool in any shape or form. And we will hold those people accountable. And we will also begin to hold people accountable who are bringing weapons into our city as well. All right.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. We look forward to hearing more from you throughout the month of TTE month and just throughout the rest of the school year. Thank you so much for your time, guys. And if in fact we have more questions come in, we will make sure that we forward them to you in your office, and hopefully you can get those questions answered for our students.
Absolutely. Thank you all. Go Mustangs.
Thank you so much. Now we will have, let me pull up the agenda. Okay, guys, so thank you so much to Mayor Scott. This is the first of its time. I've been in with the Office of CTE for 4 years now, and we've never had a kickoff like this. Just because we are virtual does not mean that we can't experience some awesome, amazing things. And we're going to make sure that we acknowledge and represent CTE Month to the fullest. So again, thank you to Mayor Scott. Doesn't that feel good to know that you have a mayor who has a pulse for the city, a pulse for the youth, who will take time out of his day? And I mean, I don't know, I'm super excited that he had on a hoodie. I think that that's pretty dope. So now I would love, to introduce to you guys our director of CTE, our director of career readiness, Director Kumasi Vines, who's going to bring remarks from our office.
Thank you, Shanae. And thank you all for being here this morning. I want to just echo Shanae's thanks to Mayor Scott. I used to work with him years ago and have done snow duty with him before. So, two things. One, I really appreciate it, and I hope you all do as well, him making sure he could have canceled on us, to be honest with you. It's a snowstorm outside and it's super icy out there, but he didn't. And so I want to thank him for joining us. And related to that, just from what I know of him and the work that I've seen him do over the last 10 years, I think I've known him, he really cares about young folks. He really, really does care about you. So I hope you appreciate that. And I hope that, we all can work together as a community, including our students, our families, our teachers, and everyone else to work with Mayor Scott to make this the great city that Baltimore City is. So I want to, again, thank Mayor Scott for joining us this morning. Thank Kailesh for the great introduction of our mayor. And also a special thanks to all our CTE instructors, our principals and students. You all make this program work. You're doing the hard work as instructors and principals to make sure that we have the delivery of an excellent curriculum for our students. And students, you are learning so much. You are putting in the hard time and the hard work and effort to really, increase your opportunities for a great future. And I'm just happy to be a part of that entire process. I also want to thank our career readiness managers who oversee our CTE pathways. You guys are the connection really from our office to the schools, and all the support that you provide is greatly appreciated. And I want to thank all of our partners, whether they are folks in the industry that help provide internship opportunities or apprenticeships, or there are our alumni, which you're going to hear from, that including Mayor Scott, but there are alumni who can give their just experience on what it's like not only to be a CTE student, but just to be a student and now be an adult in the work world. It's an invaluable experience that I'm happy that they're here with us today to share their experiences. And also want to give a special shout out to our school counselors. This is School Counselors Week. Many of you, I'm sure, are always in touch with our school counselors, and they are the ones that provide that guidance for you, our students, as you make your choices for different types of experiences that you want to have, and then making sure that you're getting the ones that you need to have as you go through our high schools and into the next stage in your life post graduation. So a couple of things I want to highlight really quickly. We have our career readiness newsletter that went out, I believe, was it this week or last week, but it highlights a lot of things that we're doing in the Office of Career Readiness, and some of our partnerships and some of our either teachers or students, some of the projects that you're working on. We highlighted those. And really quickly, just to list some of the events that we have going on for CTE month. We have February 12th, CTE Friday, where we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship. And links to all of this will be put in the chat. February 17th is the Junior Achievement Inspire Virtual Career Fair. I really advise you all to take a look at that and check in there. Make sure you're registered. February 24th, African American Food Waste Summit, and that's hosted by the Great Kids Farm. And February 24th also is Curious Teens Exploring Engineering. And again, all links will be placed in the chat. Also want to wish everyone a happy Black History Month as we all go through these awesome events for CTE month. So, I encourage all of our students and our teachers and everyone that's on this call to join these events, share your stories, share your experiences with us and with each other so we can learn more. There's also going to be a link in the chat for more about the CTE experiences or events that are going on this month in celebration. And again, another request for all of our teachers, students, and principals out there. If you have events that you want to make sure we're aware of for CTE month and we can help spread the word, please let us know. And we would love to help you with that. So next, I want to just introduce our next activity, which is our CTE Alumni Panel.
Thank you, Kumasi. Director Vines, we appreciate you. We thank you so much for lifting up CTE month. CTE month is a month, but it's not just a month, it's a mentality, it is a lifestyle. And for those of you who are on and you're like, okay, I just woke up, I just got to school, I don't really quite understand what CTE month is. Let me let you know that CTE month is a public awareness campaign that takes place every February. So especially for our underclassmen, please get ready because it's coming up next year and the year after that and the year after that as well. And it's here to just celebrate the value of CTE and the achievements and accomplishments of our programs, okay? This is a nationally recognized month. It's not just in Baltimore City, it's not just in the state of Maryland, it is throughout the nation. Our goal is really to build on the richness of previous years and then surpass them with the great success stories of our current students as well as our graduates and alumni. And that's going to be very important as we have our alumni panel in a second. So our pathways and programs are known for our engaging activities And I'm certain that this month is going to be just as engaging. We know that the look and feel is a little different. We know that we are not necessarily prepared for this virtual setting. If you are a CTE student who is in 11th or 12th grade, I know that you guys always look forward to coming to North Avenue for our amazing demo day. We know it's going to look a little different this year, but let's continue to uplift this month because we want people to know what is going on. This is an opportunity for us students, for you to showcase what you're doing. Okay, shout it out loudly and proudly so folks understand what you're a part of. This is also an opportunity not only for you to thank your instructors and your teachers, but also spread the word about what they're doing. You guys are in a fantastic position because not only are your teachers teachers, but they're also industry professionals. That means that they are duly capable of giving you everything that you need. So with that, we are going to transition into our alumni panel. You already heard from one alumni from our CTE program, who is Mayor Brandon Scott. Now we're going to bring on another panel of CTE alumni who are going to tell you all about themselves, their experience in CTE, and talk about how their CTE experience has helped shape and develop their trajectory. So for that, we're going to start to spotlight our panelists as they come on in. As they come on in, I know that you guys are ready to hear from them. So we're going to have a quick transition as we pin all of our panelists. Okay, thank you so much. Right here, you see an amazing panel of 6 alumni, 6 men and women who have sat in the seats that you sat in once. We are just going to start with brief introductions. If you can start with your first and last name, please tell us of the proud school that you are an alum of. Tell us what year you graduate, but most of all, please tell us what pathway you are part of. We're going to keep those responses to about 45 seconds because I have some questions to ask you. So we're going to start with introductions. And anybody can start.
I would love to go first. My name is Kavon Lynch.
Kavon, can you tell us what school you went to, what year you graduated, and most of all, what pathway you were a part of?
Yes, I graduated 2020, so I did graduate pandemic year, the same year that a lot of you guys are going through now. And my pathway I took up is electrical construction. He was very serious about the trade. He always pushed us, and it was just a wonderful experience.
Excellent, thank you. Next up, who do we have?
I think I'm gonna rock out.
Thank you, Isaac.
How y'all doing today? My name is Isaac Jolly. I graduated from Forest Park in 2019 from the culinary program with Chef Shannon. We used to jam it off down there. But what else about to say? Yeah. And like, I mean, I got some stuff to tell y'all, but I mean, I'm waiting for the questions. I can speak some knowledge, but it's crazy.
Okay, well, hold up, Isaac. We're gonna get you in a second. Next up, I'm gonna shoot it over to Pamela.
Hi, good morning. I'm Pamela Clark, class of 98 from Mervo. My pathway was CAD engineering, and I was with Mr. Bill Johnson as my instructor.
Excellent. Miss Angie.
Angie Winder, well then it was Angela Smith, but from the wonderful School of Americathal Vocational Technical High School, aka Mervo, and my career path was drafting / CAD and engineering.
Excellent. Noni.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Noni Anderson. I graduated with the class of 2018 at Carverville Tech, and my career pathway was culinary arts.
Excellent. We actually have a current student on our panel, so I'm going to introduce you again to Mr. Kalish.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kalish, as she said. I graduate in 2022. My pathway right now is business management and accounting. I also play football, and that's pretty much it. I'm just, planning to get a scholarship so I can maintain in business in college.
And lastly, we have Miss Amira Jones.
Hey, everybody. My name is Amira, like she said. I'm class 2019 from Carver Vocational Technical High School. My trade was culinary arts with Chef Cooper.
Excellent. So I'm going to ask you the question that most people want to know. Our students are currently matriculating in a CTE pathway in one of our many amazing CTE schools in Baltimore City Public Schools. But we want to know, how did your CTE program prepare you for your career? And so with that, you can let us know what you're currently participating in, where you are currently employed, and how your CTE journey helped. And we can start, you guys can just jump in as you see fit.
Okay, well, I guess I'll go first. My career pathway in particular, honestly, when going to Carver, I didn't initially believe that my career pathway would end up continuously being culinary arts, but I ended up working with Chef Cooper along with Chef T and some other amazing chefs to get me into the field. I ended up participating in various competitions. I actually won a few. Ever since I've been 16, my 16th birthday weekend, actually, I started professionally, working in the industry. And I'm here today. It also ended up helping me attend the Culinary Institute in New York, as well as extern at the Greenbrier in West Virginia as well.
Excellent. Noni, do you mind sharing with us what you're currently doing?
As of right now, I am a line cook / prep cook at the Chartwell Country Club.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I'd like to throw it over to Kavon. Is it Kavon? I want to make sure I'm pronouncing it correctly.
Yes, you're saying it right, Kavon.
Kavon.
Yes, and for my pathway, it was electrical construction, and taking it up in school, it was a lot of trade. At first, it kind of was overwhelming coming in at first because it was a lot. It felt like, okay, like this is a trade that you see people do on the streets and inside of buildings. It was electrical construction, and during it 10th grade year, he kind of like walked us into it. He gave us a gist of it. It was a lot of book work. 11th grade year, it was book work, on more hands-on, and then 12th grade year, it was straight to be able to experience it. It gave me knowledge for literally, I would say, everything. It sharpened the CTE program, sharpened my problem solving skills. So where I'm currently at now is I'm an intern at BJ&E, and it allowed me to strengthen just it run hand in hand. I'm currently ready to go into a utility training as a lineman, and they work on those utility poles at the top. And I was able to, my trade was able to help me sharpen my problem solving skills when things were going and it wasn't going specifically how I wanted to in the 1, 2, 3 kind of step. My trade was able to help me that. So, but it gives me the ability to always be willing to adjust and see things different as well.
Thank you. I'm not certain if you guys are getting clear reception, Kavon, but it broke up a little bit for me. But one of the things that he neglected to mention is that he is sitting in his car because he's currently at work. And so he stepped away so that he could be a part of this panel, which shows the dedication that he has for, our CTE programming. And my heart is warm for it, so I appreciate it. Next up, we have Amira. Can you tell us a little bit about how your CTE pathway prepared you for your current position and where you are right now?
Yes, so as of today, I'm a sophomore at McDaniel College where I'm studying elementary education. During culinary at Carver, I learned a lot of things and I did different things, and it taught me to always be open to try different stuff. Like Cooper and Chef Trorden, they always had us doing different stuff, like breaking down chickens, doing different events and things like that. And then while being in college, I have to learn time management and being open to do different stuff, meet new people. So that helped me a lot.
Thank you. And I am definitely a proud alum of the Lincoln University of Pennsylvania, but I would be remiss if I didn't mention that I got my master's degree in curriculum and instruction from McDaniel College. So I'm very proud of you. That's definitely a connection that we have.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so listen, Isaac has a lot to say. He had an amazing experience as a CTE student at Forest Park, and he's going to tell you how his time at Forest Park helped prepare him for where he is right now.
How y'all doing today? My name is Isaac Jolly. I've been graduating from Forest Park, like I said before, but I've been working at, one second.
And Isaac is just getting into a quiet space. This is part of our balance with virtual learning and just virtual space. So I love it. As he's getting in place, I'm going to shoot it over. Are you ready? Perfect.
Yeah, I'm
Thank
ready.
you.
All right, so I started off in culinary with my mentor. We used to go around and hand out breakfast in the morning, lunch at night to like different neighborhoods, different hoods in Baltimore City, such as McCullough Homes, Gilmore Projects. And then I always wanted to cook, you feel me? And then I got in high school, and then I seen Chef Shannon, 9th grade year, told I'm gonna be in your culinary program next year in the 10th grade. Next year, 10th grade, I got in the culinary program, and it was just up from there. Like, I was doing all types of stuff. Like, one of the top students in our class, was working with her outside of school, inside of school, and then so many different opportunities presented itself with my mentor and with being inside the culinary program in Forest Park, because it was like I already wanted to cook. I've been wanting to cook, and once I got the opportunity to cook, I took it. You feel me? And I've been working. The spot I work at now is a spot called Ickerman. You can look it up on the internet. Ickerman, Baltimore. We got a spot in Fells Point, a spot in Hamden, but I've been there for about like 3.5, 4 years now. You feel me? But at the same time, when I first started working there, I was working 3 other jobs in 3 other kitchens while in the 10th grade. You feel me? And going to speech class and tutoring and all this other stuff. You feel me? Just to better me in a lot of different ways. You feel me? So I think me being in culinary helped me with my focus and my goals and concentration on what I really want to do, to be honest, you feel me? Because I know so much information in the culinary industry right now. Like, I'm a shift lead at where I work at now, but I can train to be a manager, but there's a lot of reasons why I'm not. But yeah, it's crazy. Just from being in Chef Shannon class taught me so much. Like, I can't even, like, I gotta give her all her props, most definitely. You feel me? So it's like, it be blowing my mind sometimes. But that's all I'm gonna give y'all for now. But I can talk all day about it. But yeah. Y'all hear me?
So you just got props from Angie in the chat. So I'm going to throw it to Angie. Tell us a little bit about how her experience in the CTE pathway helped prepare her for her career trajectory.
Thank you so much. It's so amazing to hear stories such as that. So I think I forgot to mention to say the year I graduated. I graduated in 1998. I took 2 buses to get there. I was in the Park Heights community and I traveled to Mervo. I traveled there, and I have to say the story very quickly. I traveled there with the hopes of going for nursing, and they took nursing out the year that I came in. So I was stuck in machine shop and I hated it. I hated it. And let's just be very honest. But it was my instructor who really pushed me, and he put me into the drafting class and he said, "You are good, Angie." And so when I heard Isaac's story, to know that a teacher inspired him, it was my instructor, Mr. Johnson, that really pushed us, and the guidance counselor, Mrs. Linda Wright, who really made sure that we, were connected to the industry and jobs. I currently work at Pritchard Brown. I started off as a mechanical engineer tech, and we were just doing, drafting and CAD. And now I'm sitting here still at the same job. They hired me at 17 years old and at Pritchard Brown. And now I'm a checker. So I'm checking over a dozen designers and I'm working from home, as you see, but I believe that, it really prepared me going to a CTE program, not only just for my trade, but it prepared me for just life in general. Not taking anything for granted, knowing that no matter where you come from, it doesn't mean that that's your end result. And so I've along the way, I've lost my husband to violence. Again, taking 2 buses, it was all about being persistent and being determined about your future. And so my take on it is that it did help me. And what I want to make sure that others hear is that no matter what you're going through, as long as you have it in your heart to do what's best for you in your life, that's what's going to make your future the brightest. So thank you so much again. I look forward to, whatever I can do to even support and be an advocate for CTE programs.
Thank you so much, Angie. I'm going to shoot it over to Pam now.
Thank you. Good morning again. And all the stories are just so inspiring. And I know here today you only have a handful of us on the panel, but Angie and I, we were in school together, and many of our friends can reflect the same story that you're hearing today, just really how life-changing CTE programs can be. So I actually started out at Western High School in 9th grade, and I realized that perhaps this wasn't quite for me. At the time, Angie, I caught 1 bus. I caught the 44 out of Hollander Ridge. Looked at Mervo, realized I'd have to catch 2 buses, the 33 to the 15. So still with that in mind, I had a drive that I wanted to graduate high school knowing a skill. Still had the option to go to college, but just to graduate with a skill that I could apply to life if I so choose to. So I was enrolled in CAD engineering, switched in 10th grade, started out with Mr. Johnson. The program really gave me focus and discipline for my life. I didn't necessarily have a lot of that in 9th and 10th grade. It gave me a lot of the soft skills that I needed for the workforce and for my future. Little things like showing up on time, going to every class, being accountable for my deliverables, for my homework, for my projects, and the pride in workmanship, and realizing that my teachers really cared for me. They wanted me to be successful. They wanted me to meet those goals and deliverables, and I had them backing me in my corner. That was very impactful for me at a young age. They also gave me more complex skills like leadership, collaboration. There's a lot of collaboration, not only within your trade, but cross trades. Would go down to machine shop, would make the engineering drawings for them to produce the pieces that they were manufacturing in machine shop, or would draw the cabinets that they'd be building down in cabinetry. And also the critical thinking, right, and problem solving skills that Kavon mentioned earlier. So today, I started out actually at BG&E. So worked at BG&E for several years as a drafter. Moved on through my career. Currently, I'm a regional director for an energy company called Vicinity in Baltimore. I manage a whole region, so from Maryland, PA, down through Florida, but really was set up with my CTE program background.
Thank you. And we're going to round the panel off with Kalish, who is actually currently a student. So I know that to the students here, he can really speak to your experience. So just walk us through a day in the life of a current CTE student, especially as it relates to being a virtual student, and how you believe this is helping to prepare you for your future.
Being a CTE student is very fun. I feel like it definitely helped me, become more of a social person, I want to say, because like before I got to high school, like I was very quiet. Like before I met my trade teacher, Mr. Burns, like I was just not social at all. Like I ain't want to talk to nobody, but like, Mr. Burns, he did certain activities where like you would have to speak to get a grade. So like I just, had to suck it up and start being social. And I feel like it's really helping me. Like becoming social is very important, for basically everything. And I really how would I explain this? But like if I could thank him, I really would. But it's dang, I don't know why I'm so nervous, man. But yeah, basically, it taught me how to be social. Being social is very important, and yeah, that's basically it.
Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna ask you guys to give us some heartfelt tips, some advice, or just some parting remarks for our CTE students that could help them on their career journey, and not just their career journey, but also their CTE journey. So just some, just what are your words of wisdom that you would kind of leave them with? And with that, I'm going to actually start with Angie.
All right, what I will leave everyone with is just, again, staying determined and persistent about where you want to go and land in life. You're doing this for yourself and no one else. I remember times where, my family was pushing for, a certain career, and it was all about what you want and where your future is. My other tip would be just to make sure that you understand that this will be something that not only, I always say it takes a village, so the village is really pouring into you. I don't know everyone on here, but I'm here. I'm here to make sure that I advocate for you. I'm here to make sure that whatever your needs are, they're going to be met. A strong voice in the community, and also making sure that when you finish, your trade, make sure you come back. Make sure you talk to others and encourage them, because that's what's going to make us stronger as a CTE community, is to make sure that we come back to the community and speak about those things.
Excellent. Isaac, do you have any advice for our students, just words of wisdom, tips as they're moving through the rest of their high school career?
Yeah, first of all, don't let up. Stay focused. Don't let nobody knock your shine. Make sure your mind is right. You feel me? Make sure your body's right. You're eating right. Make sure you're drinking your water. You feel me? Stay hydrated. All of that wonderful good stuff. You feel me? Because all of that plays a part. Make sure you're getting your sleep. Don't be going to sleep. Don't be going to sleep 2 o'clock in the morning and you gotta wake up at 6, 7. You feel me? Knowing you gotta go to school, hop on the computer. You feel me? Because this is from experience. Like, from being late to school almost every day because I go to sleep stupid late. You feel me? So it's just like, I mean, school. You feel me? But at the end, it got kind of hard because I had to really bust down to really graduate how I wanted to. You feel me? But just stay focused. Stay focused on your trade. You feel me? If you can possibly get a job while you in school, you feel me? Because you learning and hands-on at the same time. Because that's what I did. You feel me? I was working while I was in culinary program. You feel me? I was working 3 jobs. 10th, 11th, 12th grade, I went down to 2. You feel me? Then down to 1. So it's just like, and it's like, I got so much knowledge from that. You feel me? Just from staying focused and staying the course. You feel me? Like, stay focused on what you want to do. Make sure you make your goals. You feel me? You like, make sure you write down your accomplishments. You feel me? Just so you can look back and be like, okay, I got that. I'm trying to get better than that. I'm trying to top that now. I'm trying to top that. You feel me? So you just stay focused, keep going. Don't let it knock your shine. Study, you feel me, on whatever trade you're doing, whatever you're doing. Like, hone your skill. Like, it's crazy because it's like, I used to really couldn't use a knife, but it's like now I'm tech with it now. You feel me? Because like, I do it all the time. You feel me? So it's just like, stay focused, hone your skill, and do your thing. Don't let up. Don't let nobody knock your shine. Don't let nobody mess up your focus or none of that. You feel me? And just common sense. It's just common sense. You feel me? Just use common sense, and that'll help a lot. You feel me? Like, I'm telling you, just like do what you think is best for you. Just like look at the outcomes of the pros and the cons. Make your assumptions or your whatever you want to do, however you want to do it. You feel me? And just do your thing. You feel me? Because can't nobody do it but you. You feel me? Like you your own downfall. You feel me? Like you gotta top yourself. You can't be trying to top other people. You gotta top what you doing. You feel me? That's how you
One
get better.
thing I want to mention, Isaac, that you said earlier, and I wrote it down, is that Isaac also mentioned a mentor. So one of the things that I'm going to piggyback on is definitely use your instructors, but if in fact you need to look outside of your career pathway to find mentors who can help shape and mold and guide you into the path that you want to move into, I think that is great. Thank you. So I know, Amira, I know that you definitely enjoyed your pathway. You have taken the trajectory to study and go into college. Do you have any tips for our students?
Yes. So first I want to say, always be yourself. Like, your life is your life, and like with me, I always like question, oh, I want to go to college, I want to do CTE, keep doing my trade, but you can do both. Like, and I never tip would be ask questions. That was one of my like biggest issues, was like being afraid to ask questions. But now since I'm in college, you have to ask questions or you just gonna be sitting there. And like I also want to say, you might think that, oh, your CTE teachers might just be your teachers and be there to teach you that trade, but they also can help you with different things. Like Chef Trorden, he actually went to Morgan and he was a student, and he also taught us like different things that might go on in college and things like that. So you can talk to your teachers as well. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Kavon?
Yes, I would really like to speak to the point. I'm not sure. I know we repeated your name a lot. I'm Kalish, but like you said, you started off and it was a little shy and a little nerve wracking. But like I urge you, like, to continue to stay focused on the path you are too, because it was motivating to hear that you saying you get out your show. But continue to network. Networking is so important. Network. When you wake up in the morning, if you're shoveling snow, talk to your neighbor next door to you. If you're in the store and if you're working and somebody smiles at you, smile in the back. Try to start that conversation. And if you're at that fast food restaurant now, where we all been one time before in our life, to be able to earn that money and still go through high school and do what we please. That person who greets you differently, make sure you stand out to them. Ask these people for their business cards, what they are. You can be speaking to the CEO of Exelon. You can speak to the CEO of BJ&E. You never know who you could be speaking to. You could be speaking to the mayor, and it's just the mask that's covering his face that you don't truly know who it is. But just continue to connect to these people and continue to persevere through. And I would just say the biggest takeaway would be to network. Get out of your shell. Don't be shy. Persevere. Push. Get that person's business card, because you'll open so many doors along the way that it'll be unreal. And I would love to be some of you guys' first network option. I'll drop my email in the chat. I came from Maryville. I went to a dangerous trade to an even more dangerous thing, but I absolutely love my trade. I fell in love with it in every way, shape, and form. And I would love to be that stepping stone for you. I had 7 mentors in my life through the career in this company alone, 7 mentors. So I would love to be a mentor for anybody else who needs to reach out, anybody who needs help with where to understand stuff at, anything. You can talk to me about anything, money, 401k, whatever, anything I can help you guys with.
Thank you so much. Like, that networking piece is so huge. Thank you, Pam.
All right, and I know we're short on time, so I'll wrap it up, but I just want to say you are also inspiring. Everything you're saying, please take this advice to heart. My main recommendation is just to stay focused on your goal. There's a lot of distractions that are going to happen in your life that seem very important at the time, but make sure you are focused on overcoming the hurdles and staying focused on what your goal is, and use your teachers and your counselors. Hear what they have to say. Sometimes it's hard to hear what they have to say. Sometimes it's not what you want to hear, but just take a moment to process it and understand it, and try to make sure you're taking it all in and staying focused on your goals.
Thank you. We're going to have closing remarks from our current student, Kalish.
Yeah, I just want to let y'all know, I really appreciate, the advice. I appreciate y'all in general. I just, inspire y'all to keep doing what y'all doing, because the youth really needs people like y'all, like, for real. Like, the advice is very useful, and the networking part, I don't know, Kavon, the networking part, I really focus on. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Y'all, really appreciated.
Thank you so much. For the students who are attending, I cannot thank you enough. This is just the opening activity for our CTE month. I would like to thank all of our panelists. Thank you so much. What you have contributed today will last and echo into a lifetime. We appreciate you guys so much. Please keep in touch. Believe me, we will be keeping in touch with you. In his absence, I would like to also thank Mayor Brandon Scott. What he contributed today is also going to echo into the future. We appreciate him. I thank Director Vines for giving his remarks and just for his overall leadership. I thank all of the CTE staff as well, the work-based learning staff. But I would be remiss if I did not thank, and she's not on camera, Ms. Adenike, who helped to bring this amazing event to fruition. Without her foresight and her vision, this would not be what it is today. And I thank you so much. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please throw them in the chat. We will get back to you. Director Jackson, Mavis Jackson, who is the director of our college readiness, was so dope to respond to a question that was in there. Please scroll through the responses so that you can get her feedback. And with that, guys, we thank you so much. If I'm not certain, Director Vines, if you want to give any closing remarks before we close out.
No, just thank you all for your participation and your activity. I learned so much from all of you, and I just really appreciate, your willingness to listen and your willingness to engage. And I think this is invaluable. So thank you all so much, students, alumni, and everyone that helped put this program together.
Thank you so much. And to our instructors who saw fit to make sure that our students were here for this event, thank you so much. This is an excuse absence. We appreciate you having an amazing school week and an amazing third marking period. Thank you.